That's an AI creation. It's not a real person. And everything that you see that's going on in this video, it doesn't exist.
I'm stunned. I'm shocked.
It was created by another person. And in most cases, it's created by another person, meaning the opposite sex of who the person is in the videos.
Before we get on to the main topic, which is a very important topic these days, especially with AI and all this other stuff, and the person, alleged real person that we're going to speak of,
Sure.
where are you on like the whole Frank Dukes thing right now?
Frank and I don't talk. I don't currently talk to Frank. I haven't talked to Frank in probably close to about 2.5 years. We aren't on talking terms. I generally just don't like the guy after everything I've been through.
This guy, this is not my kind of guy.
I think people like you that have been following me throughout the years can definitely see that there's been this back and forth, this resonant issue that's just popping its head up all the time.
You know, you're really a pain in the ass, you know that?
And I had to just expand and get myself away from that whole corner and that whole group, that whole community. It was just toxic. It was just bad. And it's not a place for me personally. I found that when I was working with people from that corner of that industry, that I found myself in predicaments all the time, that I was fighting other people's battles for them, and it just wasn't worth my time. And I spent far too much time trying to protect others and not enough time protecting myself. And in the essence of that, I lost out on a lot of it, you know?
There's pros and cons to everything because at the time I know
Sure.
you had actually done some training with Frank. You had
Sure.
said he made you a better martial artist, which I don't doubt he could actually make someone a better martial artist. Like I don't doubt he does have a lot of knowledge and wisdom despite his claims. If you could rewind, would you would rather never had met Frank, or are you still happy you met him because you feel like at the end of the day, I became a better martial artist, although there's a lot of toxicity involved with other things related to that?
So I would say that I'm actually glad that I went through what I did, but not because I think it was something that I enjoyed or something that I want to endure again. It was a learning process and it was a learning lesson that I know I will never make that mistake again. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I think for me, it's just that process where you have to take that time. You have to individualize. You have to separate yourself from the situation and do your own research, your own individual data and find out who these people are at the core. And I think that that's important. We have a lot of information today with the internet and things that are available to us. We're going to talk about AI tonight, stuff like that. So again, man, I've been doing a lot of research. I think you can see that. I've been digging as hard as I can into a lot of these individuals. The things that I'm finding out about a lot of these people that I was connected to, like Frank Dukes, people he's associated with, it gets more toxic and it's crazier down the rabbit hole you go. And that's just where I am now.
Okay, yeah, it's very interesting.
Just stay out of it, pal. It's not your business, okay?
I would say you definitely have like an obsessive personality. Would you agree?
Obsessive personality, and as far as wanting to make things transparent for the martial arts community, absolutely 100%. If I watch people and they're putting material out there, because I used to be a social media influencer, and I see that they're getting their material taken away from them, such as people are stealing from them, that's a big no-no. And I think that you can agree with me. I'm going to be constant. I'm going to be constant on my attack. I'm not going to let down.
You're kind of like the Terminator. I feel like once you lock onto something, you're just like you're not gonna
Bro,
stop, man.
I think it's important right now for me to continuously be the way that I am, because I think that people are starting to see after my 3.5 years of trying to convince the community that it's pretty obvious transparency is there for everybody. If you don't believe it now, that's on you.
When I mention like the kind of obsessive personality, like it's great in some ways. For example, the amount of research you end up doing
Sure.
because you are so adamant of wanting the truth. But also as a martial artist, I give props when they're due. I mean, you're a great martial artist. Whether
Thank
people
you.
like you or not, if they're being honest and they see your training videos, you move really good, you're fast, your technique's sharp. Like when I am really focused on something, I have an obsessive personality type as well, which is why I train all the time. And when I get involved in different things, I like to it takes over your life in some ways. Like you lose sleep over this stuff. So it's good and it's bad. But you can utilize that for good, which obviously you've done in martial arts, you've done in your research. Speaking of which, let's talk about this individual, Sumiko Nakano, which you reached out to me a little bit ago, and
I reached out to you, sir, about 2.5 years ago,
was it
asking.
that long ago? Wow, time goes by.
Yeah, I had to look back and I remember asking you about it. And at that time, and I don't blame you now because I know that there was no way for anybody to kind of listen to my story and be like, oh, hey, Adam McKinley's got another story. He doesn't like somebody.
You don't like her? That's right, I don't like her. I never liked her from the get-go.
But taking this into consideration, I think that you can see now that after my 3+ years of digging into the story as hard as I possibly can, literally trying to reach out to universities over in the UK, trying to confirm from hospitals whether this person actually stayed in hospital beds when they said that they did. I did everything, man. I looked at pictures and again, it became absolutely an obsession for me because I saw the monetization. I saw the commentary and I saw that this completely fake AI creation was literally just taking over the martial arts community. And there was hundreds, if not thousands of comments rolling in. And most of them are coming from like places like India and they're coming from like a lot of bots. I think that we can tell at this point,
A lot
like
of fake
there's a
comments,
there's
sure.
a lot of there's a lot of fake like commentary in there. And I think that if you look at it enough, you can see that. But what's crazy enough is that there is actually some like real support that she has, and that's what's really gotten to me. And I think that that's why it's become such an obsession is when you start looking at guys that you know personally in this social situation and you start communicating with people and then they're respecting her and they're like, wow, this person's great. And it's fine. Like I get it, but let's not misunderstand each other. Like that's an AI creation. It's not a real person. And everything that you see that's going on in this video, it doesn't exist. It was created by another person. And in most cases, it's created by another person, meaning the opposite sex of who the person is in the videos. So I think that it's just important to note that this is a huge problem, dude. Like,
It's a problem because it does take opportunities away from like real people, from
yeah,
real martial arts. Like if this account is getting all this monetization, it's fine if people actually know, look, this is not a real person. If you want to watch this AI generated person, and then fine, have fun enjoying those fake videos. But if it's marketed and put out there like this is a real person, here's her history, here's her martial arts pedigree and all this other stuff, and look how great she looks, look how great she moves. It's fraudulent in so many ways. It's sad.
Fake, 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 fake.
I'm stunned. I'm shocked.
At the time when you reached out to me, I didn't want to get too much into it, but there was something that set me off the other day that I told you. I'm like, you know what? This is starting to piss me off now because I was always like, I was a little iffy, like, 2.5 years ago. I mean, now I'm pretty sure it's fake, and then all the evidence you present, I mean, you pretty much have an ironclad case. But the thing that bugged me was one of my Facebook friends, talking about this person, say, hey, I want to introduce you to somebody. I think you guys would really hit it off. Here's her profile. And I'm like, dude, that person, that's not a real person. So
and
it's like, I feel like now I have to do my part to kind of shed light on this because I had like a lesser opinion about the person because I'm like,
of
you
course you
don't
did.
get that this
Of course you did. Of course you did. And here's
like
the
that's not
problem.
a real person, man. You're trying to introduce
So,
me to like an
so,
AI generated thing.
You know how hard it's getting just to tell people I know you?
And
so
again,
Dave,
Alan, if you're watching, dude, by all means, please prove us all wrong,
please,
and then I'll
please,
actually see that person who I'm talking about. I'm like,
please.
okay, so I'm the stupid one, you know?
And look, at this point, I hope I'm stupid because it's so disgusting. It's so atrocious. It's vomit in my mouth.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am.
For me, you're not the only person that's asked me, am I obsessive over this situation? I think that, again, transparency in the martial arts community means everything. And you know this, lineages, backgrounds, where people were trained, where people who taught who, those are the things that people want to know. They want transparency, and that matters more than any other corner of athleticism. I think that our little community, that matters, right?
Everything is in the teacher. Everything. Even Lord Buddha said there would be no guru without the Buddha. There would be no Buddha without the Guru.
And so in this community, when I see things happening like that, man, I'm gonna go ahead and try to expose it, especially when I know it's fake. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I've been literally on this and known it's fake for 3 years. And I understand the miscommunication for everybody else, but it wasn't hard to even tell then. I think that people just need to understand that you need to look at the background and the focus. We're talking about Sumiko Nakano. If you look up Sumiko Nakano, you can look up Sumiko Nakano Ltd. The biggest majority owner of that share is Thorsten Schauer, which is a person that is totally unknown. He's a face that nobody's seen, and he's a person that exists within the triangle, Alan Woodman, Sumiko Nakano, and Thorsten Schauer. Now, it's believed at this point, after collaborating with people over in the UK, that Thorsten Schauer is behind the AI creation, while Alan Woodman runs the social part, if that makes sense. And so this is kind of what they've done is put it together. Now, Alan, more than Thorsten, messes this up constantly. He gives himself up. He makes videos of him kissing Sumiko, and he wraps himself up in it by trying to get celebrity martial artists like Cynthia Rothrock or Bill Wallace or really well-known martial artists to say hi to Sumiko from videos that are reaching out to her from way out in Grandma's village in Osaka, Japan. But let's not even forget the fact that most of these people, I don't even think that they know. And that's what's scary enough is people like Cynthia are going to appear on the front of his magazine, like the next magazine that he's producing. And then Cynthia wants to put Sumiko in a video in her new Black Creek, her movie. And for me, I'm just like, man, this sucks because I believe that Cynthia deserves the transparency. She's a well-known martial artist. She doesn't deserve to be lied to. And look, if he has a wanting to go ahead and try to manipulate people into believing things, I believe it's wrong for him to try to put an AI skit shot into her movie. And that's exactly what he's planning to do.
I'm not happy about this.
Wow, that's crazy, man. You know, I seen a comment from Don the Dragon Wilson, who I'm friends with, leave a comment on one of Sumiko's posts or videos. I'm like, wow. So, like you said, she is generating comments from people that we look up to and respect. And we also got to remember though that they're from like another generation. Like we're and they're seeing it too, but like older people aren't as in tune with technology. Like we see what's happening. You could almost question everything now because AI. So when we were talking about Frank Dux earlier, and I've said this years ago before, more than 3 years ago, before people were even like really aware of AI or seen any videos at all. I said, look, man, if there's going to be like the Kumite footage that appears, it'll be AI generated someday in the future, and it'll look like a young Frank, and people will question the authenticity. People have confirmation bias, so the people that want to believe Frank will 100% go along. That's Frank Dux. That's Frank Dux, 20 years old. And the people who don't believe it's AI. You're not going to change anybody's mind, and that's a sad reality that we live in right now. But with the Sumiko thing, see, the thing is, at least Frank Dux is a real person. So him having a story in Black Belt magazine, hey, this is a real person, and he was pretty pivotal. Bloodsport would have never been made. I'm pretty sure Van Damme would have never became the star he was. Sheldon Luttich would have never became the director that he was. So a lot of good things led from Frank Dux, at the minimum exaggerating his stories. You know, some people say fabricate the whole thing, but at the minimum, at least exaggerating.
No, he orchestrated it.
But the thing with Sumiko, you know, it's a whole other thing because Alan Woodman, he runs a martial arts magazine, International Martial Arts Magazine. So he has a responsibility where, look, if Black Belt Magazine were to put Sumiko on the cover or another, let's say, AI generated character, as long as they're letting the public know it's AI generated, fine, at least we know. But if they're trying to say they put that AI generated martial arts on the cover and are, you know, telling you it's a real person, here's the history, it's disgusting, man. You know, for like a martial arts magazine. I mean, we deal with enough problems just trying to find the facts of real people. Now you're dealing with people that probably aren't even real, which I'll say one thing, like where I'm at now, I'm pretty sure Sumiko's fake because I'm a fair guy and I do like to get other sides of stories. I'm fine if Alan Woodman wants to come on here and plead his case.
I would absolutely love if Alan came on, and I would be fine to sit down with him and have like a totally calm commentary with him.
Sure.
I'm not out to try to attack him. I just think at this point people have questions, and it's hard when he comes back and he tries to throw attacks at people.
Fireball! Fireball! Oh no! Oh no!
When he gets mad that we're questioning him, at that point it just makes him look more suspicious. He's being attacked for somebody else, and he's taking so much aggression out of it. And it's kind of like, if you're not behind this, why do you take so much offense? And again, that's speculation in itself, by itself. But on top of everything, with everything that's going on, especially in these last 3 days, I think that if anybody has anything to say, it's literally you're going to make a choice of, I'm okay with this AI creation and I'm going to continue to support it. Or, hey, dude was right 3 years ago when he was totally obviously all over this case. And he's even more right now because it's right here and everybody can see it. Today, dude, I sent you what, 3 messages? And I haven't even made the 4th video yet. There's another person that I'm going to post tomorrow that she's done this to. So that's 4 people in 2 days, in 1 week of posting for her, that she's literally gone after some of the martial arts greatest champions and ripped them off, bro. Like, so if she's, so going back to what you're saying, if she's not fake, why is she literally stealing material? If she's a real martial artist, then why doesn't she just show us the silent lioness who she tries to tell people she is? Like, just show us what you're about, because I don't want to see what you can manipulate. I want to see what you're about, you know? Like, I want to see what you can do personally. You just said that you liked watching my martial arts footage. I like watching your martial arts footage, but we show that we can actually attempt it without having to enhance it with AI video. This is more or less where I'm coming from in this scenario. If he had just come forward and said, hey, this is the world's first martial arts AI Facebook bot, I'd have never touched it. I'd have been like, this is great. This is grand. I'll watch it. Cool videos, whatever. I would have supported it. But it came down to the simple fact that he started pushing it and ramming it down throats. Cases like dude, people like Sherdog took a story on this. Bullshido has done stories on this. It's not just an isolated incident. It's not just like I'm picking on them. It's not just like I'm the only one looking into this. If I'm obsessive, then Bullshido's obsessive, then Sherdog's obsessive, and all these other avenues that are coming after her are obsessive. And I think it's hard not to be nowadays, bro. You have to be, because if you're not obsessive about it, it's just going to get worse. And it's just going to pile over on us like it is today, like you've seen with 4 videos.
Yeah, and the videos, guys, that that Adam is referencing, basically there's a martial artist who, they either made an Instagram or TikTok video performing some of their techniques, and it's literally the exact same thing, but Sumiko's doing it. So, and you could easily do that with AI. You could just, take footage of whatever and then just say, you prompt it to make, a different person on there.
You know what? And I want to put this out there, like, clearly for people. It wasn't the Chloe Bruce video so much for me. That was totally obvious that it was copied.
And that video's gone now.
Yeah, it's gone, and nobody knows why. I've reached out to Chloe personally, and nobody knows why. Emilian DeFalco and I were on the phone for like 2 hours this morning trying to figure out where it went. So we're going to try to figure out where it went, because I don't know where it went. Nobody knows where it went. And so on top of everything, man, like, I'm just perplexed at this point, because I know that the craziest video of all that I posted is the knife throwing video from that what his name was, Soul Thrower, or it was one of those ones that I showed you. Clearly you can see the same indentations from his knife hitting the wall from his video. Clearly they're clearly there. There's colorations that are like right next to the target that are red. It's perfectly the same. And that to me just goes to show that if you say that you're copying people's materials and you're just doing it and you're just like going through the routines like as a human being, fine, but you can't say that you didn't absolutely copy that video and AI it, because the whole background is dude's background.
Yeah, so I mean, there's got to be some kind of credit given. Here's the original person that did it, like, because that person deserves credit for obvious reasons. So it is very sad where we're at right now. So people are getting ripped off. You might create
We
some
have
cool
we
ass
have we
feet
have
in your
we have Reina from Cobra Kai, who everybody knows about, who's getting ripped off right now. We have
which
Chloe.
that's crazy though. Okay, so the thing is, like, if you were going to create some AI character and you wanted to rip off martial arts videos, why would you take somebody who's got like millions of followers? Because somebody like you or anybody else could easily be like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. Go to the original video and see it's not even her replicating. It's literally just they took that video and threw Sumiko on top of it. It's crazy, man.
Well, David, what's craziest to me, man, is just the simple fact that, like, for the last 2 weeks, looking into the case as heavy as I have been, and she started posting these videos where she was like in the black dress. And even before I kind of looked into those videos, like I would look at them and I'd say, well, they look so familiar. In that, if you're a martial artist, and again, we're talking about the obsessive component of martial arts, if you're a martial artist, we all kind of have a weird critique about each other. Like I notice things in the way that you do your kicks. I'm sure you notice things that I do with my kicks. And it's not a bad or good thing, but it's just little things that we do that nobody else does, right?
Oh,
Like
sure.
it's like a movement or a recession, something that is very signature. And you get a lot of these like freestyle guys like she's been copying. They have these really fingerprint movements that I don't know about you, but for me, it's easy for me to kind of look at those movements and compare them to people that are very public and be like, hey, I know who that is. And so after the Chloe Bruce stuff hit yesterday and I was sick in bed and I popped up and I had this like surge of energy, I like started looking at her videos, dude, and she's using every single like champ, every single person out there that is like a rad martial artist that is well known, that has a huge million over following. And that's what's crazy is he's not even trying to hide it. Like you would think that if you were trying to protect yourself in that situation, that you would try to use a martial artist that maybe wasn't as heavily
Sure.
influenceable as a lot of these people, but he's going after like the most well-known martial artists, and the movements are very key. And I think really, look, I'm going to be honest with you, Alan. This is where you screwed up. You chose the most influential martial artist to copy, and that's where I got you.
Yeah. What do you ultimately want? Do you want him to basically publicly admit and apologize and say, "Hey guys, I'm sorry, but
I'm
Sumiko's
not
fake"? Like,
I
do
already
you have a
know. I
goal?
already know. I already know that Alan, with his stories of having over 600 tournament wins that are verified, with his stories of being in the martial arts since he was 4 years old and having his own dojo in Japan, the stories of him knowing almost every single martial artist from Bruce Lee to Ip Man. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. His stories are insane, bro. I don't think I'm ever going to get anything that I would ask for. So I don't ask for anything. I think at this point, I've made myself clear. If you choose to believe in the lie, it's on you at this point. I've given people massive amounts of proof. I'm going to give them more. I have tons more coming, and I'll leave that to the community. Like if you don't want to believe it, don't believe it. It doesn't affect me at this point. I'm not the one that has to live with the fact that I'm obsessive over an AI creation and the fact that, hey, Sumiko, like have you seen the comments? Oh, I love your feet. Oh, I love you. I want to marry you. Like it's literally just dudes like commenting on like how beautiful this fake person is. And it's just absurd, bro. It has nothing to do with martial arts. So the following, the hugest majority of it isn't even martial arts related. It's just like pervs and pedos looking at her shit, dude. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I will say, not that I want to give him any ideas, but Alan does have one out where he could, you know, be okay and save face. He's got one out. Can you
give it,
think of
give
it?
it. Well, look, if I can tell you this. What I think is going to happen is that I'm going to expose this case until it's impossible for him to fight it. And then what I think he's going to do is he's going to backtrack and say, well, I'm not Sumiko. I don't decide to make her videos. And that's going to cause a catastrophic situation because it's going to put so much heat on Alan that he's going to feel like, well, I don't want to be involved anymore. And that's what I
Okay.
think is going to
I'll,
happen.
I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. And again, it's not like I want to give him ideas, but if he's smart, this is really the only option that he would have. He could
Well,
just say,
even
he,
you giving it now, though, bro, and let's say he takes this idea.
yeah, I'll
Come
say
on.
I called it out, man. I've already predicted it. Basically, the only thing he can do